Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my recovery. Today, what I want to go over is just some more news for you today. I got what I think three, maybe four different news articles here that I want to read you guys. Some of them are pretty crazy, but if I hopefully I can get to all of them. If not, then maybe I'll do them later on. This one says it's by the Associated Press, and the title of it is "More than 2,300 pounds of meth is found hidden in celery at Georgia Farmers Market." And it's from, like I said, the Associated Press. It's in the Forest Park, Georgia. It says celery was used to conceal more than 2,300 pounds of meth that federal agents discovered in a truck at a farmer's market outside Atlanta, the DEA said. In what the DEA called one of the largest seizures of its kind, agents confiscated the drugs being delivered to the Atlanta State Farmers Market in Forest Park, authorities said at a Monday news conference. WAGA TV reported. Said the agency had learned about a semi-trailer coming across the Mexican border, and agents tracked the drugs to the farmers market, said DEA Special Agent in charge Robert Murphy. The drugs were found inside the truck, he said. Uh, He said, this was contained in a covered load of celery, Murphy said. It was hiding in the celery. Obviously, we threw away the celery. That didn't make it to the store. A Mexican citizen was arrested, the Atlanta TV station reported. Details about the suspect and charges were not immediately available Tuesday. Using produce to conceal drugs has become a frequent tactic of smugglers, authorities said. And I thought that one was pretty interesting. So I heard about that this morning on the radio. So I had to look it up just to see if it was true or not. And well, looks like it's pretty true. And it's just crazy. Going to a farmer's market, I need some celery. I mean, nobody likes celery, anyways, right? Maybe the meth thing makes it taste better. Right? I doubt it. I'm just joking. Uh, this one it says, let's see, who's this one by? This one's by the ABC 7. Said, new mystery drug, pink cocaine, isn't what you might think. It says, this is in New York City. So there's a new mystery drug that's hitting the club scene in New York City, and the ease of how it's pouring into the area may surprise you. It's called pink cocaine. Wow, I messed up there. I can't read that part. It says, you have no idea what you're taking, said NYC Special Narcotics Prosecutor Bridget Brennan. I've never seen a drug supply as lethal as the one we're in today. In cases the Special Narcotics Prosecutor and DEA have seen when it's lab tested, it actually has very little to no cocaine in it at all. Instead, they're finding cheaper man-made drugs from ketamine to ecstasy. It can be a dangerous and even deadly mixture of uppers and downers. When you see that mixture of your body being pulled in two directions, being amped up with a meth or cocaine and being sedated with something like ketamine, that's a recipe for a terrible, terrible effect on the body, said Brennan. The special agent in charge of the DEA in New York said in some cases the deadliest of drugs, fentanyl, is also getting mixed in, where even a tiny amount can be lethal. They're mixing fentanyl in because they want to increase addiction. They want to increase their customer base. They want more people to come back and buy their drug. And it's something every parent should be concerned about, said Frank Tarantino, special agent in charge of the Drug Enforcement Administration's New York division. The drugs aren't being sold in shady places or dark street corners as you might imagine. Prosecutors busted a New York City woman this summer for allegedly selling pink cocaine and other drugs over a messaging app on her cell phone. She's accused of then shipping the drugs through the mail to customers. She has pleaded not guilty to the charges. You have this criminal underworld that has weaponized social media to push their poison to the far corners of the United States and across the world, said Tarantino. According to law enforcement sources, with the use of technology and social media, the mystery mixtures are easier to get than ever before, and there are more drug overdose deaths reported than ever before. They saw there's no longer any such thing as safe experimentation, no matter how colorful the drug might be. And it says pink cocaine also goes by the name Tussie, Tusi. I guess it's Tussie. I'm going to go out on them and say that. And figure that'd be something that, if you're seeing it on the street, you might want to know what it is. This one comes from San Francisco, which is in the news, what was in the news for every day for a week because of its homelessness problem. And obviously they're blaming drugs for every bit of it and what they're supposed to do about it. You see, I think this one comes from the Standard. I think it's San Francisco's the Standard or something like that. It says weak fentanyl named soap is flooding the market and spurring robberies. It's by David Syosted. I don't know how to pronounce it. Fentanyl in San Francisco isn't what it used to be, drug users say. A more diluted version of the lethal opioid called soap in some circles is fueling its fits of desperation on city streets. More than a year into a drug crackdown that has resulted in thousands of arrests and the seizure of over 100 kilos of drugs, users in the Tenderloin neighborhood say they're starting to see a trickle-down effect in the drug supply and on their wallets. The overpriced soap that now litters the fentanyl market is spurring robberies and counterintuitively making it more difficult to escape homelessness and addiction as users seek larger quantities of the drugs, they say. That's exactly what I've said before that happens. It's unclear what's causing the decline in quality, but some users attribute it to the city's crackdown on the visible drug scene in the Tenderloin. Since May 2023, local police have made 1,148 arrests related to drug dealing, 1,438 arrests for 1,438 arrests for drug use, and have seized more than 109,000 grams of fentanyl. I mean, that's a lot. Wow, that's a lot of arrests in it, and just for a year. Says Samuel said he used to visit San Francisco twice a month to pick up fentanyl when he lived in a trailer in Mendocino. But as the quality of the drugs declined, his visits became more frequent until he found himself living on the city streets. There's only one or two people in town who actually have anything good, Bowles said, sitting on a Tenderloin sidewalk surrounded by a suitcase filled with his belongings. It's extremely difficult for people living outside the city. Well, obviously it is. I do notice that they do say that he came in there twice a month to pick it up, but I mean, he's obviously going to come more than that as the months go on, just because his tolerance is going to get higher, right? So it doesn't really go into detail. There's no way of confirming that the drugs are actually being more diluted, or if they're being just sold at a smaller quantity, or they are just less potent, right? Because they don't really go into that. I guess they're not scientists, so they don't do that stuff. It'd be something that they'd have to do, scientists would have to do, I guess. It says San Francisco has earned a reputation for cheap fentanyl, notching prices below those in other major U.S. cities, according to Drug Enforcement Agency data analyzed by The Standard. However, purity levels of the drug tend to range lower than in other places, partly accounting for the price difference. Now users say poor quality fentanyl has gone up in price locally, and most dealers don't offer refunds. No dealers offer refunds. You got a dealer offer refund, buddy. I mean, you need to be keeping that guy or girl, whoever it is, because there ain't nobody that offers refunds that I know of that deals drugs. It's too risky of a business to give refunds. It's just money down the drain, said a man named Mo, who said he was homeless and declined to give his last name. If it's used, you can't take it back. Why is it whenever they do these news articles and these like local newspapers, they always get just the weirdest people that interview? Why is that? Like we have that in our location so bad. They get the most out there people and just put them on TV, with the most common sense stuff. That's crazy. Proponents of stricter drug laws say weaker drugs with higher prices are a deterrent that pushes users to seek recovery. Cedric Akbar, Director of Forensic Services at Westside Community Services, said his drug treatment programs have seen an uptick in clients since May. Well, that's for totally different reasons. I'm going to go on a limb and say I have no way of saying if it is or not, but from my experience, I mean, he's going to get an uptick. They got an uptick of people of homelessness. They got an uptick of more addiction users. So he's going to obviously have an uptick of people coming to get off the drug. In my experience, like I said, weaker drugs at higher prices, all that does is force people to either go outside their area, force people to come up with the money somehow, which is usually, I mean, if you can't get it from your day job, if you even are allowed to have a job, which most likely you're not, that you're going to come up with it probably some illegal ways, most likely. And so that's the major problem. That's the reason why the war on drugs can't be beat. You know what I mean? That's the reason why there is no this war on drugs is stupid, and it's always been stupid. It's because addicts are going to find a way to get their drug, and because that's not taking it away from them is not going to solve the problem. They're going to find it somewhere else, and they're going to find something else to replace it with. And either way it goes, it's still going to be bad for their mind, bad for their health, and it's just not going to solve the problem. And so the way they're going about this is not really the most healthiest way of doing it, but they don't care. Let's not joke around here. I mean, they don't care. There's no people out there that's law enforcement that will sit there and say that they care about any of these people that's out here because of addiction. Now, every one of them say, well, that's what they get. I guarantee it. And so they don't care if they have to. If their next step is to go get a harder drug, right? Which is what happened in my area. All the way up to where it's fentanyl now. This started out here at Lortabs, and now it's up to fentanyl because the DEA keeps coming in and wiping out a certain drug, and so they have no choice but to go up to a higher quality drug, and then this means more people die. But people don't care, man. They don't care. They don't care one bit. And so let me see. Let me finish here. Some people with addictions say that lately it's harder to get through the day. Carl Ramsey, who lives in subsidized housing in the Tenderloin, said he's sometimes unable to carry out simple tasks due to withdrawal symptoms. I bet. Guarantee it. It's almost harder to quit now that it's worse, Ramsey said. It makes it harder to make it to appointments. I mean, I definitely could see that. When you're sick and hurting, and the only thing going through your mind is trying to get unsick, and not in pain, you don't want to do anything. I mean, I know that firsthand. It's hard to even go to work. Usually that's what happens. Usually people quit their jobs. It's really because of withdrawal symptoms, and it's bad. So I can definitely see that it's harder to do anything. Everything that they do in their life is going to be harder because of withdrawal symptoms. The Department of Public Health and San Francisco Police Department said they don't track the purity of street drugs, but data from the DEA show that fentanyl purity across California has decreased from an average 29% last year to 23% this year. Still really high, a spokesperson noted. The San Francisco AIDS Foundation and Glide test individual batches of drugs for clients, but don't track citywide data on the supply. In an unregulated drug supply, ingredients and potency are always shifting, the AIDS Foundation said in a statement. Since we started offering drug checking services, the relative amount of fentanyl in the fentanyl samples we have analyzed has been highly variable. Right. I mean, that makes sense. Donald Hillard, executive director of the nonprofit Code Tenderloin, said many of her clients have complained about the quality of fentanyl in recent months, and it's creating a hostile environment on the streets. This lady was telling me she did the test and it was only 2% fentanyl. Oh man. Hillard said it was like fingernail polish remover and all this other crap. I mean, yeah. I mean, drug dealers are not. What people don't understand is that usually drug dealers they're not addicted to the drugs themselves. So, I'm going to say the good ones, but the ones that make good money are not addicted to the drug themselves, right? What they sell is the most addictive thing they can get, but they cut it. I mean, they cut it with anything they can get their hands on that is will go unnoticeable to the eye, to smell, to taste. And they know exactly what they can cut it with. I mean, it's common knowledge in those circles exactly what you can cut everything, any drug with. And so they're going to keep cutting it and cutting it and cutting it until they can make the absolute most money they possibly can and still keep the traffic that they got, right? I mean, that's just business. That's just the way business works. If it was a corporation, they do exactly the same thing. So, um, for them to, say that, I mean, I feel really bad for it's 2% for there. I mean, she definitely got busted there. Whoever that dealer was that sold her that crap needs to be shot. But, but anyways, it's awful because that's really, I mean, obviously it's bad for you. I mean, the drugs are bad for you already by themselves. So I have no sympathy for what happens to any single person out there that takes it upon themselves to mix other chemicals with something that's already going to kill a person. I mean, that's just greed, pure greed, and at other people's lives, and it's crazy. And yeah, so I have no sympathy for what happens to people that do that crap. A man named Ace, who is homeless and refused to give his last name, said he can taste when his fentanyl is stepped on, meaning it has been cut with other substances. He said the shifting drug supply makes him more afraid of overdosing. You've got to make the hardest choice ever, Ace said. Do I use something that doesn't taste good to me? I'm taking a risk higher than what I would usually take. Right, yeah. You don't know what's in it. Others argue that the decreasing potency in a victory in the city's fight against the overdose crisis, which reached unprecedented levels last year. In June, the city's overdose death toll was 48, the lowest since July 2022, according to preliminary data. Wish I can talk today. However, the data are known to fluctuate wildly from one month to another without explanation. Yeah, I mean it's a good thing, said Craig Johnson, founder of the nonprofit Positive Directions Equal Changes of the decreased potency. It's going to help address the ODs because the dope is death. And that's completely opposite. Okay, so we have a thing called tolerance, right? And tolerance, no matter what we take, we grow tolerant to it. Our body starts fighting it and stops using it like it did before. And so, no matter what, these people that's taking fentanyl or any kind of drug, um, over time, their tolerance is going to get, more. So they're going to have to do more of the drug in order to feel the same effects. Addicts, you know, contrary to popular beliefs, are really good at knowing exactly what their limits are. You see what I'm saying? Like, they know that from seeing other people use the drug, from the taste of the drug. I mean, you're talking about people. This is people's lives are at stake here, right? So I mean, they do the best they can so they don't OD. Because not only do they risk losing their life, but they risk losing the money that they spend on the drugs. Because if they OD, the crap they use to bring them back is going to kick all that out of their system. So every bit of that money and everything's wasted too. You see what I'm saying? So it's a complete 100% waste if they overdose at all. Not just for their life, which is the worst possible thing that can happen. They're going to lose their money no matter what. And overdosing is not fun, period. Even if that doesn't happen to you, it still ain't good for you. That ain't the high they're looking for. And so we're really good at choosing what drugs we can do and what drugs we can't to achieve the high that we want to achieve, or to achieve the feeling, I should say, that we want to feel. Because not everybody wants to be super high. But so for him to say that it's a good thing is, you would think it would be, but it's not. One thing means, like I said before, they're cutting it with other crap, so that people ain't going to know what's in it, which is going to affect how they do the drug. It's going to affect what the drug does in their system. It's going to affect their system altogether, right? I mean, if they cut it with something that's a poison, or a poison to somebody, that's to kill them, right? It doesn't, not the drug doesn't have to kill them. The cut can kill them. So the problem with that is that you'll go to a dealer. Let's say I go to my friend and I buy a bag, and now I know I could do this whole bag and get the high I want. Okay, I just tried it yesterday. It's fine. Now I go back tomorrow. Okay, and I buy the same size bag, thinking that it's going to hit me the same way, and it doesn't, because it's lower potency, right? You would think, common sense people would say, well, it's common sense that they would stop there, but it's not. That ain't common sense. What's common sense is the fact they're going to say, well, I'm not where I want to be, so that means I have to go back out. I have to do what I can again to get the money that I can again, to go back to get another bag, and to do it over again. That's what's going through these addicts' minds. So really, what happens is they end up doing more, usually, than what they would have to begin with. And not only that, but they're doing more cut than they used to do because of that. And so it's extremely bad to even when you start cutting drugs. It's not a good win for anybody. And so I hate that they say that. I really do, because it's not. It's really makes it looks like it's just lying. I mean, it's just straight lying to the public to make them think that it's okay, and it's not. It's not okay. It's not okay at all. But it says, but several users told the Standard they are unable to simply quit using fentanyl, which they describe as their medicine, and that the increasing drug busts have made their lives less safe. People get crazy, Bowles said. They start robbing and hurting each other. And there's a little bit more, but we're going to stop there on that one. Yeah, I mean, that's what I just said a second ago. So, yeah, they're going to do what they can do. They're going to have to make more money to buy the less potent stuff, and it's not a good scene for anybody when this happens. And so, anyways, I wanted to bring up all this stuff to you today. There's some of these news articles here that I've found in this past week, and some today, like I said, to give you a little bit of info what's going on in the United States and around the world. There was also one I wanted to print off too that was in New Zealand, that a charity was going around giving out candy, and they found that the candy was laced with meth. And kind of find out, apparently, this charity got this candy donated from an individual or someone that donated this candy to these people, and they gave it all out, and come to find out it had meth in it. I mean, that is the craziest thing. I never understood how that happened. When I think about stuff like that, and I think about my time with addiction, I was really particular about my drug and where it was at all times, and because when I lost it, man, I mean that's a lot of money. There's no way, I mean, it's just no way I could do that. So it's just odd to me when people lose their drug or this stuff, weird stuff happens like this, that it's even happening, because on my side of things, I just don't understand it. Like, I mean, I always made sure my drugs were put up exactly where I knew they were going to be, and nobody was going to ever be around them. And it was more like a shrine to me. I mean, that my whole room, which is where I did it at most of the time, was a complete shrine. I had a ritual that I did all the time, the same way every day, and would multiple times a day, that I would put it back in. So it's just beyond me how that even happens. So, but our prayers go out to those people that actually took that candy. Anyways, I hope y'all have a wonderful day.